Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's Belton here. We are going to go over and review some of the things that have been announced officially so far. So they've been either data mined or like leaked out by GGG with respect to the upcoming League 0.5 Return of the Ancients. Now, I am doing this on stream as well. And if you take a look on PoE 2DB here, there's actually quite a bit that has already been data mined and pre-released. And so I asked my chat prior to what would be a preferable way for me to go through all these. I haven't looked at any of them yet, so you'll be seeing like a, first reaction to these things, and obviously we'll see what my impressions are and where those videos go. But as you can see, there's literally hundreds of probably maybe not hundreds, but dozens at the very least of things that have been data mined, and you can see they're sort of categorically organized here by mechanism, currency, unrevealed. Um, Unrevealed obviously being useless for us for our purposes. These look like item bases, gems or skills, and then unique items. And so rather than doing this in a like 5 hour long video, we're just going to break this down into individual ones. So if you want to stay up to date with this, subscribe to the channel and maybe turn on notifications, because I think after you exceed 2 videos in a 24-hour period, it just stops showing them to subscribers because it doesn't want to spam them. So I will probably be doing at least probably 4 separate videos to go over each of these, just to have them in a more targeted, targeted fashion for those people who are, let's say, only interested in seeing the new uniques and a thing, but also just to manage the duration of those videos. And so I polled my chat, and they were interested in seeing the unique ones first. So we'll go over the uniques in this video. And there's Mage Blood and Voices. GG's. Again, haven't looked at these specifically. They've also got like a more expanded upon thing here, which gives sort of an overview of each of these categories. However, it's not as like here when you see there's new bosses. It doesn't actually have a full list of uniques, so we'll do it off the main page. Actually, it might have the totality of new uniques if you go through all of them. But yeah, lots to review. Yeah, we'll start off from here. Brutus's Lead Sprinkler looks like it's the first one. Hopefully, this is a callback to the OG Brutus's Lead Sprinkler in PoE 1. Should be a strength stacking mace. Let's take a look. Alright. Lead Sprinkler, Morningstar. So one-handed mace. Yep. Okay. Crit is 6.5, which is actually pretty high for a one-handed mace. Base attack speed of 1.55. That's got a local attack speed roll here, so this could theoretically go higher. So the base, I think, of that is a 1.4. Alright, so what do we got here? Fizz damage, strength, attack speed, 5 to 10 attack fire damage per... Oh, yeah, strength stacking, baby. 5 to 10 added attack fire damage per 25 strength. So that is added attack fire damage. This is global, right? So that doesn't... It's not to this weapon, which means you can dual wield these. This can also be integer upscaled, so that could go to 6 to 12 with a corruption. And you could dual wield those, so that'd be 12 to 24 per 25 strength. So let's say you have like 500 strength, that would be times 420. So that would be, what, 6 so 6 times 20, 120 to 240. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, 500 strength, especially if you're just single stacking, is very... I mean, you could get double that probably. That'd be what, 360, 180 average fire. So you got 1,000, which again is also obtainable. 360 average, so you'd be looking at what, 6 to 40, 240 to 480. Wow, yeah, that could be really good. You could also, I think, you could match that with if you're doing Titan's Grip, right? Because that would increase the strength cost. Actually, you could pair that even with... oh, actually, that'd be a good combo. You could pair that with Vertex, get the +4 to the skills, because this doesn't have plus melee skills on it or anything. So that'd be beneficial. Get 10% attributes. And then you could also get... equipment has no attribute cost. And you could pair it with Titan's Grip, so you could have a two-handed base in the other hand in this one, because this is a global buff. So that could also apply to the two-hander. Plus, you can get like +8 melee on the two-hander, so that'd be +8, +4 from the helmet. It's +12, +4 from, helmet. Amulet would be +8. Two-handed mace would be +16. Corruption would be +17, and then you could use the prism to get plus 20, so you can still get a level 40 skill doing that. That's interesting. All right, what's this? Hits with weapon have a 5% chance to trigger Molten Shower. So that would be, you need what, 500 strength to have a 100% chance, and it's got its own skill here. Okay, what's Molten Shower do? Okay, it's an AoE attack, which is also projectile, trigger, fire, cooldown. Ooh, it's a cooldown use too. So that might give some utility to, if you're doing like Temporalis for the purposes of Blink on a melee skill. That could also reduce that down to, it's also 5 uses, so. But you could reduce the cooldown to 0.1, which is the base, the lowest base cooldown you could get. Attack damage, I'm sure that this is, it doesn't look like they have the level scaling, but I'm sure you can get that attack damage up. It is attack tagged as well, which is good for the levels, right? Attack skills. It's not melee though. So, okay, so you'd have to get, if you were going to get like, yeah, so you plus 4 to all skills would work. The amulet would not work though. Oh no, it's projectile tag. So you have to get plus 4 projectile, not plus 4 melee. And then on the two-handed mace, if you were to mix it with that, you'd have to use the essence. Okay, that's interesting. All right, what does this do? Fires molten projectiles from the enemy hit, which will explode when they land nearby, dealing attack damage in an area. So, converts to fizz, fire 4 projectiles, explosion, the attack is triggered. Oh, so it's basically Molten Strike. Molten Shower is the project. So it's basically, that's the, yeah, it's Molten Shower. Is that almost, that's almost like identical to Molten Strike, isn't it? Molten Strike, PoE 1. Fires 4 projectiles. Except, actually, Molten Strike does less damage. Huh. It's like a better version of Molten Strike. Fires 4 projectiles. I wonder if these can overlap and, like, hit a single target, too. The explosion radius is 1 meter. But if the projectile speed is slow enough, because I don't think it's possible to get returning projectiles, but if the projectile speed is slow enough so that they, and then if you have maybe enough AoE, you could overlap the AoE radius of the landing projectile to hit the same target multiple times. We'll have to see how that works mechanically, but that's a cool skill. Molten Strike in PoE 1 is so good, especially for triggering things. The internal cooldown on this is relatively slow to begin with, so, or sorry, it's relatively quick to begin with, and it's also 5 uses. So even if you're not using Temporalis, which you would never Temporalis just for the sake of improving that wouldn't be worthwhile, but if you combined it with Blink and other cooldown-oriented things, yeah, that's really cool. Oh, holy cow. All right, sorry, I know this is the first unique, but I just had an idea. Let me flesh this out. Okay. Brutus, Sprinkler. ×2. Iron, what's it called? Iron, whatever. Iron Will, Iron Grip, Chest, I forget the name. Iron Grasp, maybe? Iron Grasp. Crown of Eyes. Hate Forge. Oracle. Rage passives. Mystic Rage. Is it Mystic or Mythic? Mystic. And then there's also, isn't there, there's fire damage rage ones down here, right? Yes, there is. Every rage grants increased fire damage. Rage, fire damage. Okay, hear me out. Iron Grasp makes it so that... Ooh, also, sorry. Heroic Tragedy. Okay, Iron Grasp makes it so that you get... Iron Grasp gives you Iron Grip and Iron Will. So, you get 1% projectile attack damage per 2 strength. right? And the trigger off of Brutus's sprinkler is a attack-based projectile, so that works on that. And then Iron Will gives you spell damage per 2 strength. And then if you then combine that with Crown of Eyes makes spell damage also apply to attacks, which means that 1 point of strength with the 2 of those would give you 1% increased damage. Okay? Right? And then also with Oracle, you have the increased damage per strength. Where's it? There's a spell damage there. 2% spell damage per 10 strength. So every 10 strength, you would get 10% damage, 12% increased damage per 10 strength. 12% ink damage per 10 strength. So 6 per 5. Per 5 strength. And then one of the impacts of Iron Grasp is that you have no inherent... where is it? You have no inherent bonus from strength, which means you don't get the life. But then Heroic Tragedy has Verona's. Okay, Heroic Tragedy has Verona. And that makes it so that your strength, every 1 strength, gives you, or sorry, every 2 strength gives you 1% ES. And the inherent bonus of strength being removed, the downside of the Iron Grasp gets removed from that. So this will still work. So every 2 strength would give 1% ES. All right, and then you'd also be getting every 25 strength would be giving 6 to 12, so 12 to 24 flat fire. Okay, and then you'd have okay, so then rage, right? Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so wait. All right, you've got that ES, right? So then you go CI. CI. So now you have 1 life, right? But now you're immune to chaos damage and you're immune to bleed and poison. So you don't need to socket for chaos reds or anything like that. Okay? But because you have 1 life, you get one suffix on gear with life regen. And then you can take Berserk. Which will then no life degen from Berserk. Which equals 84% increased effect of rage. Okay? Alright, wait. Alright, now because we're Oracle is 21 rage from the Oracle only passive. Then Hate Forge is 10 to 12 rage. We'll say 10. 10 rage from Hate Forge. Then you've got 30 base rage. You've got 4 rage from the helmet. Then you get 14 rage from, what's it called? Battle Trance. And the small passives in front of it. Okay, so what's that? 21, 31, 61, 65, 79. 79 rage. Okay, 79 rage. But then you get 84% increased effect on that rage. Which is 145. So you get 145% more attack damage. And then because you'd be taking Mystic Rage then gives you, or Mystical Rage, 2 spell damage. So 79 rage would be 79 times 2. And then the increased effective rage would be times 1.84. And that would give you 291% increased spell damage, which with the Crown of Eyes equals 291% increased attack damage. Okay? And then the fire one down here gives you 1% fire damage, so that's 79. So you get equals 145% increased fire damage. Okay? And then, then you can put in what's the freeze one called? Batters. Get some form of freeze on one of your things, like put on like Herald of Thunder, and then convert it to cold damage. Find some way to freeze. Batters. Oh no, you put Batters on another attack. Okay, find an attack where you can freeze. Should be able to figure that out relatively easy. And then Batters gives you 79. So Batters would then give you 145% damage added as extra cold. And then Hate Forge would give you gives 25% increased attack speed and all charge generation. Okay, and so your strength. Okay, so just from strength stacking, let's say we get 1,000 strength, so that would give you 200. So you get 1,200% increased damage. Increased damage from strength. Then you'd also get 500% increased ES. And then you would get 480 to 960 flat fire to both weapons. So your total there would be, okay, your increased damage, 1,200, 1,345, 1,445, 1,490, 1590, 1690, 1690, 1771 ink damage, and then you would get 145% more damage, and then you would get 145, then whatever. Oh my god. So that times 145% more damage, and then all of that times and then all of this could be then multiplied by 2.45 and times 145% damage added as extra. Just okay, and then you'd also so just from stacking the strength, you would get 490 to 960 flat damage on a base that you could scale to. Plus, you get permanent crit, so you could put on like cast on crit because of Oracle to trigger off other skills, and then you could put socket in attack speed runes, local attack speed runes. Get that close to like a, let's say it goes to 10%. So 10, and then you could get like 3 sockets, so 15, 25, 1.4 times 1.25. You get that to like a 1.75 base attack speed, doing an average damage of 480 to 960 is 1040, 1440, 720 times 720 average damage. And then that's getting multiplied by 18.71. And then that's getting multiplied by 2.45. And then that's getting multiplied by 2.45. So you're already doing 150,000 base damage before you add in any other stuff. Dude, that's fucking nuts. And then the projectiles return, and like if you can shotgun those projectiles. Holy bro. Oh wait, and then you could put in, oh yeah, because you're Oracle, you could take like Zealot's Oath, right? And then you get free single point passives to 7 of these. Then you put in 4% strength with damage added as extra fire right here. For 7 points, you then get 28% strength and 28% strength, and if you corrupt it, you get 35% damage added as extra fire, 35% strength, 40% strength over here. You get an amulet. I actually have one that would be perfect for it, already crafted in this league, I think. Where is it? Right here. Yeah, look at this. 13% increased strength on it. Oh my god, dude, that could actually be fucking nuts, man. Okay, that is way too much time to spend reviewing a single unique. Anyway, that's hype. That's hype as hell. Nice. Okay, I'm sorry I took so long to go over that. I'm not going to spend that long on the other uniques. Maybe I should. I don't know. Where's my Twitch chat? Twitch chat, should I should I go over uniques like that as often or no? Should I do shorter reviews? Okay, anyway, we'll move on to that. That lead sprinkler has some... It might be better. Actually, no, because you can't get projectile skills. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyways, there's definitely some options there. Definitely some options. That's a cool item. All right. I got a little too hyped there. We got a little hyped there, boys. God, I love new stuff. All right. What's the next unique? All right, next unique. Eventide petals. Okay. Increased crit. Int. Light radius. Well, that'll be if there's anything like finding crystals. That's a shit ton of light radius. Ice crystals have increased life per cold res. What's this? While active, critical hits with other skills that kill targets or hit powerful targets will cause you to gain Arctic petals. Once you have enough Arctic petals, they'll be consumed to create ice crystals near the most recent target. This skill cannot cause meta skills to generate energy. You cannot gain Arctic petals from this skill's critical hits. +1 Arctic petal per power of targets killed with critical hits. Oh, this is good for Oracle. 3 Arctic petals on critically hitting rare or unique targets. Consumes 10 to create 5 ice crystals. Ice crystals have maximum life. Oh, wow. That's, I mean, this is obviously a lot of overlapping mechanics here, but ice crystals have per 5 cold res. And it gives you ward as well. Midnight City. While active, critical hits with other skills that... Oh, or hit powerful target. Okay, so they have to... Sorry, the critical hits have to kill non-rare targets, or they just hit rare or unique ones. Okay, so that just gives you basically perpetual ice crystals. Right? And those ice crystals will then explode. And the more life they have, they explode for more damage. And so the cold res can increase the damage on those. There's also support gems that can increase ice crystal life and some passives on the tree. And there's a limit of 10. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of those ones that... Yeah, I can see this getting out of hand with something like Oracle. Trying to think of where cold res stacking would be like a relevant thing to do for any other reason. But the tree does have like a... I'm pretty sure there's one that's like 100% more ice crystal up in the top right somewhere. Where is it? Oh yeah, 200% increased ice crystal life. What's this one? And then I think there's a support gem that has ice crystals. Maybe it's 50% more. What's this one? Destroying ice crystal grains supported skills at 1% of damage is extra cool for 6 seconds per tooth. Oh shit! Oh, that's fucking nuts, dude. 100% more life. Yeah, look at that. So you can get 200% more, 200% increased life, 100% more life. Like, even if you have 75% cold res, that's 15 times that, so that's 30%. This is probably not even worth scaling, actually, because that's, I mean, yeah, because, I mean, you're only getting 2% per 5 cold, whereas on the tree, you get 200% for a single passive point. But either way, ice crystals have 3,000 basic life. Okay. So 3,000 basic life. And then you get like, let's say 300% increased. So that's like times 4. So that's like 12,000. And then 100% more is 24,000. And then 24,000. And then you get, what was that skill gem again? You get like damage added as extra cold. Crystal. I'm sure there's more ways to scale it beyond that. So that's like 12% damage added as extra as a base value without any other kind of scaling. Man, that's really cool. Oh, plus you can get great creeping chill, creates more radius, and it gives you chilled ground. Man, this is such a cool, like, there's so many overlapping things going on here. Fuck, I'm sorry, I'm taking way too long with these, but like the amount of like wheels turning in my head at each one of these skills is so, it's so awesome to have this feeling again. Okay, anyways, we'll move on. That's a cool one. It's obviously ice crystals are like a super. It's a super kind of like niche thing, but I mean, if you can incorporate that, like anything that's crit based, like it has crit as a conditional mechanic, like immediately it just screams Oracle to me, right? Because Oracle, Oracle, you get crit as long as it's capable of critting. It's a guaranteed crit. So even without investing into bonus, you can have that conditional thing impact. And like being able to freeze, it didn't say anything about not being able to inflict ailments. So like you could use that, the crystals, you could use that as like a collapsing AoE, right? With lots of life. That life then gives you damage added as extra cold. It creates chilled ground. It spreads the chill. And then, you've got, then you could have like bot terrors as attacks only. Is that wait, how is that tagged? Is that persistent AoE cold duration. It doesn't. So it's not an attack or a spell. Man, interesting, dude. Interesting. Okay, sorry. Just keep this pumping along here. 26 minutes. All right, Horror's Flight. Okay, Crushing Fear. Dash to an enemy and strike them. All right, sorry. We'll look at the item itself first. Okay. You got evasion rating. That's a good amount of evasion. 14 attack speed. Dex. Flat Chaos. Flat Chaos is pretty rare. Grant 1 Fear Incarnate when you cull a target. Okay, what's Fear Incarnate? I'm sure that'll be here. This is also got the local skill. This is pretty interesting because, you'll be able to like 3-1 these, or getting level 21s and stuff too. It's interesting. The implicit spells are interesting. This is a lot of base damage, or a high damage multiplier for a level 18 skill, 311%. Okay, so it's a quarterstaff only. So the quarterstaff only gloves. All right, dash to an enemy and strike them, culling enemies if their life is low enough. When this skill kills an enemy, you draw out their final fears, crushing them to create a shockwave. Enemies around you that can be culled will be highlighted. So it has culling strike, converts to chaos. It can't be evaded. That's not that big. Holy shit, the shockwave. Oh! 1,275%. What is this too? Oh, and this is a melee skill. So this would get plus melee. So on a quarterstaff, you get plus 8. This would inherently go to like 20. So 28, right? Yeah, and then you get like plus 4 on the amulet, 32. You could have a vertex 36. That's already at 1,200%. Like at level 36, this would be like fucking 3,000%. Is there a cooldown? No cooldown. Okay, what is the shockwave? Converts 50% to chaos damage. More area of effect per power of target killed. That's a more multiplier too. So a unique is 20 power, so that'd be 100%. So you double whatever pre-existing AoE you have, and presumably the shockwave is AoE. Yeah. More damage. Oh my god. So you kill a unique 200%. Oh. So like if you call a normal mob, which is only 1 power, you still get 10% more on a 1,275%. But if you kill a fucking unique, or let's say a rare, it's more realistic, 50% more. So that's already at like 1,800%. Wow, that's so cool. And the only issue I have with strike skills is like they're mechanically they're kind of frustrating to deal with. And cull, is there a way to like raise the cull threshold too? Fear Incarnate when you cull a target. What's Fear Incarnate? Fear Incarnate PoE 2. Oh, here's all the uniques. Okay, this is on one page. Sorry, we'll just look through here. All right, where were we? Fear Incarnate. I don't know what Fear Incarnate is, though. Okay, well, maybe Fear Incarnate does something to, like, the culling threshold. If that's the case, then I could see this being pretty dope. But again, strike skills are really, like, I find them very frustrating to use. But the shockwave, though, depending... Yeah, I mean, like... think about, Wind Serpent's Fury, right? Like, that shockwave that comes out. If it's like that, I wonder also too if you could like get it to spread out like in a Nova or something. Anyways, that's interesting. But again, it's too bad. It's only a quarter staff, um, but still quite cool. So this one obviously one-handed mace. This looks like it could be somewhat universal. The gloves are bound to quarterstaffs. What's the next one here? We got a bow, Ironbound warden bow. Okay, so it's an additional chance to chain. Armor, increased attack speed, 12%, plus 12% to block chance. So you can get block without a shield. That's interesting, I guess. 5% increased block chance per 100 total item armor on equipped armor items. So you can actually see that now. There's a thing on the thing there. So it'll say, like, you see how it says item evasion rating? And, like, item on ES, it'll have item energy shield. I don't have any armor gear on, but so it's on the basis of that, it would scale. Hits with this weapon have 1 to 4 added physical damage per 1% block chance. Okay, arrows. Okay, so you could get, well, 75% inherently, I think. Oh, no, is it 50? Is 50 the max? I think 50 is actually the max block now. Unless you have a build around it or special about that. So if it is 50, then you would get 50 to 200 added physical, but there's no percentage scaler on this. You could use runes though. Arrows return. Oh, ooh, if they've pierced a target which had fully broken armor. That's a lot of this is yeah, I mean this is a lot of things to have going. Like getting block on a bow based build that is also stacking armor with full pierce and making sure that your attacks are also fully breaking it. That's a lot of conditions to have simultaneously. I'm sure there's going to be a niche build, maybe something with totems will make this more effective. I've never played in a totem build, so this is maybe outside my realm of thinking, but yeah, maybe something with totems. That seems like a lot of conditions and requirements outside of what would be normal. Plus the fact that this has like that added physical, which is not local, will be added at the end anyways. So yeah, we'll see. I'm sure somebody will make something cool around that, but maybe that's not something I'm too interested in. All right, liminal coil, wand here. All right, spell damage, cast speed, magnitude of curses you inflict are 0, so they don't do anything. Curses you inflict ignore the curse limit. Okay, so you can add an infinite amount of curses. So that'd be fucking nuts for this thing. Here, for each runic inscription from your curse skills, it causes you to regenerate mana per second equal to 10% of that skill's mana cost. So with an infinite curse limit, you could place like 9 different curses, and then put like spell slinger, curse, and what's it called again? Where it puts them on either side of you. Spell cascade. Get like a gajillion, trillion, bazillion mana per second. That'd be interesting use. Spell hits gain 27% of damage as extra chaos per current curse on the target. As extra fig. Oh wow, so you get 60% damage as extra per curse. How many curses are there in total? 1, 2, 3. Oh no, these single use ones don't exist anymore, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5. Is there only 5 curses? Vulnerability, Ellie weakness, despair, temp chains, and feeble. Yeah, 5 curses. But still, that's like what, 300% damage added as extra. Interesting. I'm sure that's probably gonna have some really crazy stuff done with some of those new support gems. The I can't even pronounce them. The Akuakalakalakalakal, the one with like the explosions on curses and stuff. For curse on target. Yeah, very neat. Magnitude of curses, but they don't do anything. What's coiling bolts? Is that? Oh, there we go. Okay. Coiling bolts. All right, that's a projectile spell, which is repeatable and chaos. Okay, it costs 0 mana. It's got a 1.0 cast time. Simultaneously fire a physical projectile and a chaos projectile at the target. These projectiles chain through any number of cursed targets. Ooh. Physical, that's a lot of base fizz. Numbers, modifiers to the number of projectiles instead apply to the number of targets projectile splits towards. Projectile split towards 2 targets. Can chain from any number. What? My brain is melting. Wait. Like you could put on Nova projectiles, like level the not max level Nova projectiles, and then you can, and it splits for each additional. Oh my god, my brain's hurting. I think this could be like, what the hell? And it gains all. Bro, that's fucking crazy. This is definitely going to have some cool shit. I feel like something like this, where, because like this has so many forms of scaling to it, right? It's like, you've got the curses, and then there's multiple curses that you can put into place. And then you have things that can like generate mana from those, or like explode off of those, or do like that pillar of light shit off of those. Then you're getting 2 forms of damage as extra off of those. And then it comes with a skill inherently off of it, which has the 2 base damage types, is also a projectile, scales its number of splits off the number of projectiles that come additional from it, and it can chain it from an infinite amount of targets. It's like, that's a lot. That's fucking yeah, you're gonna see some crazy shit with this. This is there's too much going on with this one for me to like sorry I took so long again fully fleshing out not fully fleshing out, but I got excited when I saw Brutus Sprinkler. But yeah, I think this is definitely gonna have some unintended this is the type of weapon I could see getting you know, where like they make it's cool or whatever, but they just haven't had enough like testing time, or they've got so many things going on that they haven't like fully considered the ways that can get out of hand. Yeah, this keep an eye out for that one, boys. We'll say that. Let's move on from that one though. That's definitely one to keep an eye out for. All right, Periphery. Man, I'm only halfway through. All right, Periphery. How much time are we in? 37 minutes. Okay. Periphery, Heartwood Shortbow. We've got okay, base 5 crit's pretty bad for a bow. Tag speed 0.4. That's so Heartwood Shortbow, that's a new bow because it's a skill unique. Okay. So it's an elemental bow. Fire, cold, lightning, flat. Tag speed. Elemental damage from hits contributes to flammability, ignite, and chill. Magnitude. Wait, sorry, and shock chance. Hits contribute to flammability, ignite, and chill magnitudes, freeze buildup, and shock chance. Okay, so all elements do everything. So like, okay, elemental discharge, support, maybe we get there. Curse on, or cast on element effect. While active, so here's the inherent skill. It looks like all these uniques have inherent skills to them. Kind of a cool thing. It makes the itemization a bit more impactful. While active, summon short-lived as myriad swarms when you kill enemies affected by ailments, or hit rare or unique enemies affected by elemental ailments. These swarms are untargetable minions that pursue nearby enemies to attack them and inflict fairy fire on hit. And again, fairy fire is not elaborated on, so we don't know what fairy fire is. Okay. So we'll read what is there. The ones where it has like a skill, like the gloves where it had like inflict whatever. Those are definitely going to be like incredibly important elements to how that like skill functions. So to like speak to its relative power without knowing what that actual component is obviously going to give an incomplete picture. But let's see what it is anyways. Summon an Asbarian Swarm when you kill a target. 10% chance to summon an Asbarian Swarm when you hit. With an ailment, maximum of 8 swarms. Swarm duration's 10 seconds. Swarms convert 100% of fizz to a random element. Okay. Swarms have 100% chance to inflict fairy fire. Swarms have 1% increased attack speed per 5 of your deck. Oh, it's a deck stacking kind of thing. Swarms deal 28% more damage with hits for each type of elemental ailment. So the elemental ailments are chill, freeze, shock, ignite, electrocute. So there's 5 of them, right? Am I missing one? Yeah, 5. So that probably, let's say that goes up to 30. So 150% more. Increase their attack speed and it converts. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know. I without knowing what Fairy Fire is, I can't speak to the power of this. But again, I feel like this is one of those ones that, yeah, maybe I won't pass a qualitative assessment on it yet, but it's not that difficult to apply Free Shock, Chill, and Ignite without having like a weapon tailored around it. You know, you don't get any skill levels there. Then you're mixing bows with minions. Yeah, I don't know. Again, we'll move on from that one because to speak to it, this is probably, I would say, the one that's of the least interest to me so far. But without knowing what Fairy Fire is, that's obviously a moot insight anyway. All right, what do we got here? Searle's Grit, Kalgurin, Forge Hammer, another one-handed mace. Huh? Two one-handed maces. All right, has 3 sockets. So, wait, I wonder if that's permanent. Like, does it... Well, actually, sorry, that can be corrupted to 4 sockets no matter what. Right? Because that's an implicit. Like, when you think about any other item that has an implicit, like, it should be able to, because 3 would be times 1.22, so you'd only need 17 or higher. So, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 6. 6 out of 45 would be divided by 3. 2 out of 15... about like what 12 or 13% chance to corrupt that into 4 sockets. I wonder if that. Sorry, the thing I was wondering is if this overrides, like if this is like a permanent, so no matter what, that always gets it. Like you can't. It doesn't have like base sockets, and you can't corrupt an additional socket. That's what I'd be interested in. Like, can you, if you use a Vol Orb, can it add +1 socket without scaling this up to 4 sockets, or does this override it? I think that has, because that sounds like it's a permanent thing, so that seems like it probably overrides it. But either way, you should be able to get 4 sockets on it. Okay. Skills which empower an attack have a 14% chance to not count that attack. Wait, what? Skills which empower an attack to not count. Maybe. What does it mean by not count the attack? Like your attack does nothing when it's empowered, or it means like it doesn't count it as in like if it empowers like your next attack, it doesn't count the fact that you've expelled the empowered status off of that attack. That must be what it means. That's phrased weirdly though. 113 to physical thorns damage per active protective rune. Oh, this is a thorns weapon. Max quality is 40%. Huh. Well, that would impact the fizz. Or what's runic tempering? Is there no? Oh, is that not a runic tempering? Or was it runic tempering? No, there's no way to engage with that. Okay, so there's another one that we don't know what the skill is. So yeah, I'll just move on from the ones where you can't find out. Like if it has a skill and it doesn't tell you what the skill does, it's really not much value for me to provide any kind of commentary on it anyway. So maybe we'll just move on from those ones for the sake of the sake of duration. All right, Sylvan's effigy, Stoic Scepter. Okay, so it's a scepter base here. It's got inherent discipline. Okay, and then a skill as Marrying Wolf. We'll take a look at that after. So increased spirit, nice. Allies in your presence. That's a lot of flat life regen, like a lot. Attributes, companions deal 85% increased damage to your marked targets. Okay, you can have any number of companions of different. Wow, that's okay. That could be pretty cool. Any number of companions of different types. So, like, instead of having a limit on one companion, as long as they're different types of companions, you can have an infinite amount of companions. Like, you know, with tame beasts. Like, you could tame, like, all the beasts, as long as they're different. Okay. if that's how that works, that's I mean, obviously there's a high spirit cost associated with that, but there's a variety of different ways to scale down spirit costs on summonable minions and companions. All right, what's the skill here? Asmarian Wolf, persistent physical companion and minion tag. Summons an ancient reviving Asmarian Wolf that can howl, calling to spirits, convening an eternal hunt on command. It maims when attacking foes and can lunge and howl to inspire nearby enemies. Okay, 15-second cooldown. The Asmarian Wolf howls, reaching out to the spirits to begin an eternal hunt. While the eternal hunt persists, spirits manifest as spectral wolves to ambush foes, damaging and maiming enemies before disappearing. Summon 7 spirit wolves. Wolves dash at enemies. Minion info. What's the eternal hunt? Oh, eternal hunt is this. Reaching out to... Spirits manifest ambush foes, damaging... Wolves dash at the enemies. Yeah, maybe I'm just not experienced enough with minions, but the way that this is phrased kind of confuses me. So you have a companion persistently, and then it's a 15-second cooldown, and they last for 8 seconds. Oh, so it can summon 7 other wolves. Oh, and it's also got an attack multiplier. Okay. All right. I mean, there's things on the tree like this would be pretty crazy with that. Where is it? Attack damage for each minion in your presence. But again, I'm not really good with minion stuff or companion builds, so yeah, maybe I'm missing something here. But I mean, the infinite companion thing definitely sticks out as a cool thing. I'm sure there's probably a more qualified person to speak to that. Maybe Gazi. I know Gazi's really big into minion stuff. Yeah. I don't think maybe I'm fully qualified to speak to the strength of that one. So, but yeah, the companion thing seems cool. All right, what's the next one? Ordained. Sorry that I don't have like some grand insight there, but I'd rather be honest with you guys than pretend to comment on things that I don't fully understand or have a strong background in. Okay, so what's this one here? We got a spear. Nice. I love spears. Fizz, that's a lot of flat fizz. 243%. Lightning, okay, base crit, okay, attacks per second, nice. Oh, it's got its own skill as well. Alright, increased fizz, increased flat lightning, nice high base crit. Life leech recovers based on your lightning damage. Ooh, that's so helpful. Especially if you're doing like lightning sphere, because it converts all your fizz to lightning. Create a divine fragment. Fragment of divinity in your presence every 4 seconds. We don't know what that is. Okay, what's the skill? Leap into the air carried by divine wings, damaging enemies with your spear where you land. If there's a divine fragment near you or a targeted location, the attack will consume it when you leap to become empowered, dealing more damage and granting life mana recovery. This skill does not use up its cooldown when empowered. The impact, I hate when the things add plus 2 seconds to attack time because it means that you can't scale attack speed. Okay, converts 40% of physical damage to lightning. Impact radius is 2.5 meters. Will consume within 3 meters of your target should become empowered. Oh! 1,275% base damage. Wowza. And you can bypass the cooldown. And the base one already has 600. Wow, that's a lot of base damage. And it converts it to lightning. Nice. Does not consume a cooldown use. And you recover life and mana. Wow. So Divine Fragment sounds kind of like this guy right here. Just from the way it's phrased, it sounds like it'll work like this. Obviously, I don't know this definitively, but let's put this on for a sec. Show you what I mean. Right here, mirrors of reflection. You see how they're just like popping up? So maybe they'll work like that, right? And then if they're within range, it'll give you those various buffs. It'll be interesting if you can scale, or like I'm not sure with Divine Fragments how they're spawned, but it'd be interesting to see if it's like if it's cooldown related. You know, maybe doing something like what do you call it? Temporalis on there could be interesting, or maybe less duration oriented things. Yeah, cool. This one's cool. I like this. I like this. The lightning damage leech is just, that by itself is super helpful. It's scaling flat on anything that's elemental oriented. It's, you know, the weapon itself is not as important as like a pure fizz weapon. That's cool. All right, Raven's Flock. I think I remember this one from the thing. This was like the PoE 2 version of RF, I believe. Cast speed, int, minions deal damage. Minions have 12% chance to inflict Ruling Madness on hit. Ruling Madness on hit. And then, again, that doesn't say what that is. Spirit Reservation Efficiency of Skills. Inspiring Conspiracy. Okay, a flock of mist ravens circles you, dealing damage over time in an area. Their numbers are bolstered by slain foes or in the presence of dangerous enemies, but the flock as a whole is considered a single minion. You can command some of them to take flight, leaving a flock. Oh, yeah, that was like that like it had like 2 mirrors on the side of it and went down the straight thing. A raven joins the flock every 1.15 seconds while a rare unique is in your presence. A raven joins the flock for every one total power of enemies slain by you or your minions. The cooldown's 10 seconds, 550% of your attack damage. Or you can command part of your flock to crash through illusory mirrors, which does depart when commanded, 50% to chaos. Yeah, sweet. I mean, like, people love RF. I'm sure this will find some place. Again, minions aren't a forte of mine, and I'm not sure what Ruling Madness is. So it's, again, hard to comment on that as a whole, but just people fucking love RF in PoE 1. So I'm sure this is going to have some use. It's a staff, so unless you're doing, I forget which skill or what class it is, but one of the ascendancies, you can have a scepter with a staff still, I think. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Okay, the Unleashed. +1 back spreads, great base. Armor ES, nice. Armor and energy shield, 100 spell damage. What? On a body armor? Strength and int, 17% of damage taken from hits bypasses ES if energy shield is below halt. What's halt? Is that supposed to say half? I don't know what below halt is, but I'm assuming that means half. I don't know what halt is. Okay, lose all runic bindings when you shapeshift to gain equal amount of unbound potential. Gain 1 runic binding on hit with spells. Runic binding. I'm not sure what runic binding is. On a hit. This is maybe something I have to look into some of the new mechanics to understand. So I'm going to refrain from commenting on that. I'm not sure what halt. Well, maybe halt is actually like something to do with rune. Yeah, that's right. Ignore my commentary on this one. I don't have possessed the knowledge of the mechanics on this yet to comment on its strength. All right, let's go on this guy. A couple more here. Two-handed mace, twisted Empyrean. Fizz damage, cold damage. Well, that's a lot of crit. Maces don't normally have much crit. Nice attacks per second. All right, another skill-based one. All right, fizz damage. That's a lot of flat cold. That's a lot of flat cold. That's a shit to what? 320 mana. Bro, that's nuts. That's more than like catalyzed tier 1 mana on a breach ring. The base crit, 10% of damage is taken from mana before life. That's good. Okay, attacks from this weapon have added cold equal to 6 to 10. Oh! What? So if you have like 5,000 mana, let's say that gets corrupted up to 12%. That adds 600 to 600 when it has like added cold damage like that. Because like obviously 600 average damage could be reflected as like 300 to 900 or like 1 to 1199. When it's phrased like that, it's like this. It'll add obviously it's based on how much mana you would have, but if you had 12% rolled and 5,000 mana, it would add 600 to 600. The thing is, there's not really any, not that I can think of, there's any cold mace skills, though. Most of them are fire or fizz. There we go. Convert 100% of fire damage with maces to cold skills, or cold damage. Wow. Actually, you compare that with Brutus's Sprinkler. Because the Brutus Sprinkler adds global flat fire, and this can convert that to cold. I don't, that may not be worth it, but you could also dual wield these. And then you get like 24% added. This wouldn't do anything beyond that, but you'd still get the mana. You get a double dip the mana. That's a global modifier. This is also global. This is also global. Oh no, attacks with this weapon. Sorry, never mind. Time out. Attack. It's not global. This is attacks with this weapon. That's important to distinguish because that's attacks with this weapon have it, so it only applies to one of them. Whereas if you look at Brutus' Lead Sprinkler, it's attack fire damage, so that will apply to the other. If you're dual wielding them, it would apply to both. Each one would apply to the other. This can only be the mana scaling part at least only has like if you were dual wielding these, you would only have it apply to one, and again that would upscale. Okay, what's the skill on it? Starborn Onslaught. Melee, slam, fizz, cold, duration. Okay. Immediately when I look at this, I don't know if less or more duration is going to help it, but this is basically Earthquake. Earthquake strikes at a meat. Earthquake is melee, AoE, slam, physical, and duration. So if this is benefited by less duration, we'll read it in a sec. Earthquake is a contender to use that. All right, build up glory by freezing or chilling enemies. Okay, that's a huge difference. Like chilling enemies is like immediate, no matter what, you're gonna like chill them. Freezing is a pretty like even if you invest into it, it's a like it's an easy enough element to like status element to apply conditionally for things like combat frenzy, but in terms of like actually being able to use a main skill, it's too cumbersome in my opinion. Chilling enemies though is like instant on everything, so building up glory should be quite easy. When you have maximum glory, you may jump backwards, loosing your mace with the force of a falling comet onto your target. The impact releases fissures and causes stars. Jesus Christ. It's like there's so many animations there. All right, so you have to get your glory, and when you get your glory, you'll jump, and then a comet will come, and then the comets will cause fissures, and the fissures will cause stars. This sounds like a kid like telling like a nighttime story, like an infant, like, and then the skill jumped, and then it caused stars, and then it caused comets, and then it caused fissures. I wonder how the animation's gonna be on that though. Like that amount of like animations back to back. I wonder if it has like a 4. Oh, maybe it has plus attack time. Let's see. Converts 70% of fizz to cold damage. Creates 3 fissures. 20 glory is a joke. That's like instant. Oh yeah, there we go. Plus 1.2 seconds to total attack time. So that total attack time means it comes after all your other scaling. Impact. That's a pretty high radius though. Calls down 20 stars. 8 seconds to the fissure, and it converts entirely to cold damage. The damage scaler is 155 inherently on the fissures, and then the star falls 294. 294 is quite high for a level 18. Yeah, I mean this is just this is so many steps to it. This will be interesting to see. Like I really personally I don't like anything that has where it adds to total attack time or plus 2 attack time, because it's kind of like I don't find it's not lazy design on their end, but it takes away like it applies a hard ceiling on like your scaling potential, right? It's like you get an infinite amount of attack speed, get it down to like 0.01 seconds, you know, which would cost you like 1,000 mirrors, and it's like, yeah, still got a 1.2 second cool, you know. I don't like that. I find it to be kind of like antithetical to the power fantasy, but that's not uncommon with mace skills though. A lot of mace skills have that. You know, playing with Mjolnir, which I did on a few occasions. Basically, that was like the number one thing you wanted to avoid was just finding something that didn't have that shit. Earthquake doesn't have it, but at least you know this is I guess this is not like a main skill. Most glory ones aren't, I guess, but yeah, that's the animation on that will be interesting. Jump back, cause comet cause fissure cause stars. All right, and then, all right, we're at the last one, voices. We covered this in the last video. I love voices. I think this is probably going to be one of the most expensive items in the game. It is limited to 1, and they said in the release that it can allocate up to 4 jewel sockets. Now, the fact that it says, I was wondering if it would work with Adorned, but the fact it says sinister jewel sockets, I suspect the fact that they're sinister jewel sockets and like not regular jewels will probably preclude it from being done that way. But either way, because it applies the jewels to like a separate part of the tree, and it's not a cluster jewel like it is in PoE 1, that means you don't have to spend any additional passives. So like the 1 joule, right? Like let's say you put voices right here, right? Then you would get like 4 joule slots right here without having to spend additional points. So that 1 point reflects 4 joules. Now the 4 joules, right? Let's say you have like a 5 modded joule that has like 15 elemental damage and like 15 spell damage, 20 crit bonus, 20 crit bonus with spells, like 15 crit chance, and then it's corrupted for like plus 10 res. It's like that by itself is 30 times 4, so you got 120 increased damage, and then you've got 40 crit bonus, so 120% increased damage, 160% crit bonus, 60% increased crit chance, and 40% resistance for 1 passive point. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure they added catalyst to jewels, and like a variety of other things to scale jewels up. So even without like any adorned consideration, I think that's probably going to be, if not the strongest item in the game, one of the strongest items in the game, which would be consistent with voices from PoE 1. Yeah, this is something that, you know, not to cat's out of the bag, this is probably the first thing I'm going to go after pretty much no matter what, because jewels, like the power, first of all, this will hold its value incredibly well. It historically in PoE it always has. But because jewels are something that are widely overlooked at the beginning of leagues, because they're predicated typically upon levels as well as like being crafted well, having the right mods, being divine, blah blah blah. So they tend to be overlooked, except they can roll perfectly like from day one, and they often do. PoE, this new upcoming league, I think, is adding things like quality and jewel crafting currencies and things that might make the process a bit more complex and like long-term focused. But at a certain point, pretty much every build in the game, the most marginal utility you can get from like improving your character is going to come from, in terms of like dollars, or not dollars spent, divine spent, is going to come from jewel scaling. And if this does scale with Adorn, like but I'm assuming it won't. Either way, it's still probably one of the strongest items in the game. That's fucking bonkers. I know that they had the Mage Blood teased on the main page, except I found this quite funny that, yeah, the Mage Blood's just a total debate. Wow, so that was cool. Yeah, that's all the uniques they've released so far. Obviously, there's more to come, and you know, some of them didn't have all the details there. With respect to some of the, you know, the implicit skill mechanics and like little things that trigger them or whatever. So subject, you know, the ones that had those, I think I was pretty clear that I can't comment on them fully. I know a couple of those I probably just was dispossessed of the full knowledge or experience base to comment on, but you know, hopefully there was still some value to that. I'm very happy with how you guys, this is speaking to the YouTube audience, how you guys responded to that like 3-hour video I put out talking about league starts. I didn't expect much from in terms of positive feedback on that, or analytics. You know, typically it's not something that's happened historically, but I really appreciate all the, like, a bunch of you guys left some really nice comments, and it seems like you got some good value from it. So I just wanted to express my gratitude for taking the time to do that, because you know, it does mean a lot to me to know that things are finding people well. That being said, though, we're done with this one now. Thank God I decided to break these up into separate videos. So that's covering all the uniques that have been released so far. Just as a reminder or a request on my end, if you're watching the channel for the first time, or if you're returning and maybe haven't made the decision to yet, I'm just a little bit shy of hitting 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've been working on the YouTube for 10 years now. 50,000's always, it's been like a long-term benchmark I've been chasing after. We're about 350 subs away from that right now. If you could take a second, if you're interested in PoE, in itemization, crafting, currency generation, some you know, deeper dives, I think I'm your guy for that, and I think I'll add some value, and it would help me reach that goal. So hopefully you'll consider doing so. And if you have any comments on these, or if you know, maybe I interpreted a skill incorrectly, or perhaps you've got some you know, like some of the things where I didn't understand the mechanic to it because it wasn't shown there. If you've got any information that fills in the gap, let me know in the comments. And I'm curious to know which two. Like, what do you guys think? Which ones are you most excited for? Like, for me, it's voices for sure. But I was also struck by Brutus's lead sprinkler. And I think the wand too, that wand with the curse thing, I think that's probably going to be the one that goes a little bonkers. But I'd be interested to hear your guys. Oh, and Mage Blood as well, of course. I mean, Mage Blood, I think just to keep, we'll see how it's implemented, but I don't think they would drop the namesake of Mage Blood and do a disservice to the OG one. So I'm sure it'll be crazy strong. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for some more impressions and first thoughts on the new league reveals. I hope you guys are having a great weekend and getting stoked for the new league. Talk to you soon. Peace.